Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, and today we're here to talk about Ironheart, Episode 4, titled Bad Magic. Yes, we get a lot of guilt in this one, and Riri isn't okay, and this episode makes damn sure that we feel that. Yeah, so my instant reaction on this one, it was a bit more of a filler episode, but I gotta say, in terms of filler episodes, I'd say they did a great job with it. I'd say for a 6-part series, just even one episode similar to this, just kind of fleshing out the characters a little bit more, feeling the turn to Riri being a part of the team, to everyone's out to get Riri by the end of this episode. Every character in that crew goes through that transformation in this episode, and the time that Riri spends away from them, they have completely, basically turned on her, it seems. So that's what the foreshadowing kind of hinted at, in my opinion. From the moment that the team gathers in the beginning, you could just feel the tension. And it's all over Riri's face. Like, that's how I would be. I wear my heart on my freaking shoulder or shirt sleeve. A friend used to tell me that, and I think that might be saying that wrong, but the point is that I wouldn't be able to not look the way she did in that room after what had happened and my part in it either. I would have that guilt. I don't know why. I feel like I really relate to Riri. She's working with what she has, and I mean, a lot of us are, and I think that's what kind of makes her a cool character. And it's not in spite of Tony Stark. I'll always say it's because of him, and he opens and paves the way for Riri. I believe she was a benefitor of the scholarships he was giving out, like in Civil War in 2016. However, I think she graduated like at 15. I didn't know she was age 15 in Wakanda Forever. No, how did I miss that? Definitely looked older than 15. But all that being said, I get Young Avengers vibes from her all day long. Thinking about Kamala Khan going to meet Kate Bishop and now getting to know Riri a little bit better. Screen Crush, lots of credit to Screen Crush because before this episode I went and watched their 3-parter for the first 3. They had 1 episode for the first 3 episodes. Awesome way to like recap everything. So I would suggest if you want to hear a recap on the whole story, I'm sure they'll have one up tomorrow. But for us, just warning you, we're going to be releasing 1 a day until Friday, just to resonate a little bit. Everyone's going to have their take. We'll have our take on Friday about the last episode. We want to take our time with these last 3 and enjoy them because personally I'm enjoying the show. If you're enjoying the show too, you can always go to patreon.com/MarvelManiac. That's where we assemble, and we have many tiers. If you can't contribute, you can still join and be a part of the server, aka a part of our growing community. Shout out to Michael. Me and him, we've been talking WandaVision. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. Like Michael's like kind of like my new Patreon BFF. You can be too. No, honestly, I like it. I like that the hub it has. I like that it has a little chat I just discovered, so we can all like talk about the episodes and stuff. So patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Enough of the selfless plug. All right. We're back. The Hood's grief is big in this episode, and it's very complicated because it's just hard to imagine what he's carrying on his shoulder. Something so dark and demonic. Like a piece of it was giving Riri that hard of a time in this episode. To wonder what, like, it's almost like symbiotic in a way, like, right? Like the Hood has its own entity in it, similar to like Venom, but in its own way. You could feel the split starting and him kind of being turned into more of like the villain of Riri. By the end of the episode, he's literally saying he wants her like dead. So that's upsetting, but he knows about John, and that's the fact that she knows that he knows, so she's trying to anticipate. It's definitely a little game of cat and mouse they got going right now. I'm very interested in seeing how that will play out in the next few episodes, to be honest. We got Riri in this episode spiraling. Guilt, paranoia, PTSD, all this is just bubbling under the surface. It reminds me a lot of Iron Man 3 Tony Stark. Like, something traumatic happened. not as, I mean, Riri, you're going to be fighting aliens from outer space. You got to get through this. But this is her personal origin. So that origin story is always more fighting the heart as well as the, antagonist with the super heroic outfit. in this case, it may be literally Satan's hood. That's Disney MCU. Well, anyway, back to it. Riri, she's not taking it well, and I think she makes some poor choices in the episode because of that. I hope she can get it back together by the next one. But John dying is all over her. She feels responsible. It doesn't matter what he was saying to her. It doesn't matter why. It just breaks her that someone died because of her. So, with all that, a lot happened in this episode. Let's start to break it down. We get a flashback to Parker and John, Parker being the Hood, which took me like 3 episodes to actually pay attention to enough and learn. No Hood yet in this flashback, but you can definitely feel the foundation of his morality kicking in, crackling a little bit. That line, "I'm always with you," it hits hard. Yeah, it hits hard. It really does. Natalie, she continues to shine, even though she's AI. Which I love, by the way. I'm one of those people who's all for AI. ChatGPT, my friend. But she feels real. The dancing, the empathy, her comforting Riri after John's death. She's a scene stealer. She is. That's why there's so much conflict in Riri, because she's been spending time with her. And it is awful at the end of the episode, the way her brother, Natalie's brother, Xavier, sees and learns that Riri is using his sister's memory as an AI toy, I think he calls it. And that actually hits me down to the core. I don't know why, it hurts. Because I think it's that sense of, we're not on the same page, but if you've seen what I went through to get to this moment, you'd understand me, and I need you to believe me on that. And usually when you have to say all that, the person who's against you probably has given up by then. And even though if you're in that situation, she's in that situation, she can't properly explain it to him. And that's definitely a sign that she's not telling the people closest in her life, her mom coming in the whole episode, she's not letting people in. She's just pushing people away, and that's what's kind of gotten her in this situation where she accidentally got a guy killed. She's been doing illegal things. She's no superhero. She's more of a Robin Hood, if anything. And she aspires to be Tony Stark, but Tony Stark, you could draw parallels in that she is trying to fight a life of crime, which also ends up hurting people sometimes, and people die. So that's kind of what Tony's missile his guilt of all the missiles and the war that is used with his technology. They're both similar in that sense. I see the parallels between the characters. I did read something bothered me a little bit. I'll say it. So I read something like today on Reddit, probably on Reddit or something. I don't know. If you wrote this, MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. I apologize. I'm not trying to steal it from you. Okay, I've tried to record this like 3 times. The thing that I learned was she never was in Tony Stark's circle, so she knows nothing about Tony Stark yet. So why is she the person taking over the mantle when she technically has no authority to do so? I think and I have so many answers to that, but I was speechless when I read it. It bothered me, and it was, a criticism. So I take criticisms not hard for like things, especially I didn't create the show, but if I believe in the show, I'm gonna fight that criticism, and I don't think that we're looking at it the right way if we're looking at it that way. I think that Riri was affected by Tony Stark. In the moments where she says she wants to be better, she wants to be as good, she wants to be legendary in her own right. That's all inspiration. That's all nodding towards Tony. She is an protege out of the knowledge that Tony left with the world and the people, and also not a fallout, but a result of the compassion he showed by giving students an opportunity to follow their dreams and do all the projects. And he became a hero on a lot of ends. So I would assume the thing that she's building is something to honor him, not to shit on his legacy. There's got to be a big you gotta like weigh in common sense here. Like, she wouldn't just be building an Iron Man suit like that. She didn't like respect Tony Stark, going to the same college that he went to. She's clearly a fan. She wants to get further than him in honor of him. So that's like where I'm pretty much standing, and it kind of like lets me sit completely fine with anything mentioned about him from that mindset, because to me, that's gonna be my headcanon, you know, as they call it. But you believe whatever you like. What's your thought on it? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Do you think they're going too far, not having someone more close to Tony be the new face of Iron Man? Well, I want to know what you think. If you don't agree with me, MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com, or if you do, let us know. Or you can go patreon.com/MarvelManiac. We're talking on there too. I'm just trying to get that out in the world today. So this cloth mystery, it just deepens and deepens through this episode. It gets creepy because it's such like a tiny piece. It seems like it shouldn't have been able to be cut off like it was in the last episode, but they got it. Anyway, they just do everything to this piece of cloth. It's basically like undamageable, and it's just got demonic properties to it. You can see that as a viewer. She looks at it under a telescope, and it's got like lava looking powers flowing through it. So it's invisible, untouchable, untraceable, and it's clear that this thing is not from our realm. The magical element is creeping in big now in the show. There's this, oh my gosh, there's this parallel plain magic shop. Okay, listen, this is like Harry Potter and the MCU collaborating. This was so out of nowhere. Riri's mom's friend, and her daughter, who is like a potions witch, she flips a room and brings them into another plane, another dimension. So many secret pocket dimensions. Is that what they... There's always another pocket dimension in these shows. I gotta say, this is like the third or fourth dimension we've learned of, and those don't even like have anything to do with the multiverse, or do they? You know what I mean? Like, where is the dimension taking place? Outside of time, space, or is it taking place in a pocket reality, lozenged onto that timeline? I don't know. Where's Loki? I need Loki right now. I need him to explain some stuff to me. Next show we'll be covering, by the way, is Loki. We're going to be going all 6 episodes in a row. That's going to start next week. Loki Season 2. We did cover Season 1. It's a bit nostalgic. The episodes, not like they are now. However, it's a good listen. And if you like to just start with us on Season 2, I couldn't be more excited to talk about how that show sets up even the future still of the MCU. So stay tuned to next week. With Fantastic Four also coming up at the end of the month, we got a lot of good Marvel ahead of us, and Fantastic Four will be bringing in Phase 6. Yes, so Ironheart is the finale of Marvel's Phase 5, and it's proven to be a good show. It's not the show I thought that it would be. The being on the shelf, in quotes, what I said, it's been on the shelf in 2022 and they're releasing it in 2 weeks. You know what? I think they've been working on it that whole time. I think they wanted the CGI right. I think this was a passion project. I think everyone involved was passionate about making this show, and it shows. It shows. The show's still got to stick the landing, and I haven't seen it yet. We're going in order, so we'll see how it sticks the landing. The last 2 episodes are definitely leveling up to be maybe the best ones already. But yeah, there's little moments in this episode too, like Xavier and Riri's relationship. It blooms in a way. He's very warm and thoughtful, and he sees the real Riri, and he's like, "You're like Spock," and I thought that was sweet. And it's funny that she's a Trekkie. I think that tracks back to an earlier episode too. She's a Trekkie. She brings that up. I could hear Ryan Airy telling me it as a Force ghost right now. Now I have to have like a picture of me with Ryan Airy as a Force ghost. I could sadly probably Photoshop that together, but that might get into the lane of weird. Go watch Screen Crush. What a great guy. He came on for our 100th episode podcast. We're approaching episode 200. What do you think? Should we ask Ryan back? Should we reach out further into the multiverse of MCU content creators? I think it could be a fun thing having Ryan on every 100 episodes, but that's drawing up a lot of contracts and a lot of provisions, and honestly that's not true at all. Just gonna have to ask him. But I don't want him to feel pressured or counted on, like, oh, that's always going to come around when he's ready for me to do his 300th episode. This guy puts out 5 videos a week, like he's the real deal. He's the real deal. He is the Shuri to my Riri, okay? And she gets suggested actually by Natalie to call Shuri even, and she said she wouldn't help. I think she would help. I think she would totally help. But back to this real quick. I ship Xavier and Riri. I didn't think of it like that before, but they bond, trauma bond probably, which I never say. I don't like the way that sounds, but they bond with each other over the death, and it only goes bad when he sees the projection AI Natalie, and what a lot of people are going to be kind of honestly struggling with this, looking back at this show maybe in 5 years, like, oh, well, we were heading right into that age, weren't we? The reveal, it just shatters everything that Riri and Xavier were walking on and their foundation. That confrontation, I'd say, it was the biggest confrontation of the episode, because he's an emotionally tied person to this. It's very complicated. So, like, imagine seeing someone like that you thought was gone. It's very complex. He said, "That's not my sister," and he tells her to delete it. And you can feel Natalie's heartbreak, at least AI Natalie. This is what's so conflicting about it. There's sentience. And that's going to start happening in real life. We're not going to argue or talk about that. Ultron has not seen his day yet. But I could feel Riri's guilt, and it hurt on every level. I just totally enjoy the character they're building in this show. I think I've said that like 50 times. But I when I like something, it's hard for me not to just be like, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Her panic attack in the suit mid-flight, direct callback to Tony and Iron Man PTSD. They both got PTSD. This show is doing such a good job honoring that legacy in the light ways, in the shorter ways. All right, predictions, impacts. Let's see. Parker's villain team is totally forming, recruiting Ezekiel, pushing him into mad scientist mode. I think he's like getting turned into like a robot or something. I don't know. He's building a dark mirror to Riri. And that cloth from the darkest realms in the multiverse, this could be tied to like Doctor Strange, like our Agatha, or even that rumored show, Strange Academy. I think that could be really cool, and I think that girl who we saw turn us into another dimension nonchalantly might be a candidate, along with Ned from Spider-Man. Oh man, I'd watch that. And Wong, I'd watch that. Benedict Cumberbatch, like, cameo in there. I think he'd do it. Riri, okay, let's finish this episode. Riri is being pushed toward the magical side of the MCU while she wants to be a new Iron Man, but she's experimenting with dark magic. She may be a scientist first, but that magical threat is already affecting her emotionally and physically. If Xavier doesn't come around, that could be the heartbreak that shapes Riri moving forward. We're seeing her origin through relationships and not just tech. So to start closing it out, this episode's going a little longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. There was a lot of exposition in this episode. The emotional realism in this episode is actually next level. I relate to Riri. I don't know if you do. I relate to Riri, not just because she's a genius, like me, obviously. I'm not a genius, and I don't think that I am, and that sounded like I thought that I am. But she's overwhelmed, right? She's human, and she's just trying to do the right thing. At the end of the day, no matter what she did with this guy John, who was clearly kind of evil anyway, but that's okay. We don't trade lives, Vision. Riri's kind of dealing with all of her life, like her mom in this episode. By the end, it's hard because she's kind of calling her out. If you don't want me to lie to you, don't ask me these questions. It's devastating. The spiritual Chicago scenes just gave this episode the flavor we haven't seen in the MCU before. I'm talking about my Chicago skyline, getting to see Ironheart fly right above it. I thought, honestly, that was really sweet. And I'm blown away that we have Chicago in the MCU now. Please don't attack us with aliens or wizards or, what is it? Robots. Aliens, wizards, or robots. That is so fun that they brought that line back into play. The episode, the addressing of Riri's pain, Natalie's growth, even Xavier's reaction to Natalie, it all felt so real and so heavy. This is the turning point episode. The emotional blow might be bigger than the physical one so far. So again, I'll say it one more time, patreon.com/MarvelManiac. We have a tip jar in the comments or our about section. Never expected, always appreciated. We are on all your social medias. You can follow me, Mr. Honest, on Twitter. It's MRHON3ST. X. I should have gotten that down by now. But anyway, what did you think of this episode? I want to know your thoughts. You could tweet me. You could email MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. And are you excited for the finale? Did you watch all of them already? Are you like, why is he waiting to put his other episodes out? Okay. Personally, for me, I like to let the show breathe so I can have a fresher take on it. I was going to try and stay up all night and to record more episodes, which I might do another episode. I'm really invested in the show. But I'm being honest with you, it's something I choose to do only when I'm full energy and I'm ready to go. I don't want to put out a bad episode or leave anything out there on that field, as they say. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far, it's supposed to be a 15-minute episode. Luckily, I am my boss, so it works out. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for being here. And until the next episode of Ironheart tomorrow at 5 a.m. Central, Avengers, disassemble.